Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Lisa Bonet is an American actress known for her distinctive beauty, bohemian style, and roles in iconic television and film projects from the 1980s through the 2000s. Born Lisa Michelle Bonet on November 16, 1967, in San Francisco, California, she rose to fame as Denise Huxtable on the groundbreaking sitcom The Cosby Show, 1984 to 1992. Her portrayal of the free-spirited and independent Denise made her a cultural icon, especially among young viewers. Bonet also starred in the spin-off series A Different World, 1987, which focused on Denise's college experience. During this time, she drew both praise and controversy for her mature role in the 1987 film Angel Heart, opposite Mickey Rourke, which contrasted sharply with her wholesome television image. In the early 1990s, Bonet began using her birth name, Lilakoi Moon, in personal life. Although she continued working professionally as Lisa Bonet, she later appeared in films like Enemy of the State, 1998, and High Fidelity, 2000, showing a range of acting talent that extended beyond her early television fame. Her personal life has often been in the spotlight. She was married to musician Lenny Kravitz from 1987 to 1993, and they share a daughter, Zoe Kravitz, now a successful actress and singer. In 2017, Bonet married actor Jason Momoa, though they announced their separation in 2022. Lisa Bonet is widely admired not just for her acting, but for her enduring influence on fashion, culture, and individuality. She remains a symbol of authenticity and artistic freedom in Hollywood. Early life and heritage. Lisa Bonet was born Lisa Michelle Bonet on November 16, 1967, in San Francisco, California. Her mother, Arlene Littman, was a Jewish music teacher, and her father, Alan Bonet, was an opera singer of African American descent. Growing up in a multiracial household, Bonet later spoke about how her identity shaped her views on society, art, and representation in the media. She attended the Celluloid Actors Studio in North Hollywood, where she studied acting as a teenager, later transitioning into commercials and minor television roles before landing her breakout part. Breakthrough with The Cosby Show. Lisa Bonet became a household name in 1984 when she was cast as Denise Huxtable, the second oldest child in the Huxtable family on NBC's The Cosby Show. Her portrayal of Denise, stylish, intellectual, rebellious, resonated deeply with audiences. Unlike typical TV teens of the time, Denise was allowed to be complex and nonconforming, and Bonet played her with depth and effortless cool. Her popularity led to the spin-off A Different World, 1987, which focused on Denise's experiences at a historically black college. However, Bonet only appeared in the first season. Reports of creative differences with producers and her pregnancy at the time, with daughter Zoe Kravitz, contributed to her exit. Film career and edgy choices. In the same year she began A Different World, Bonet took a bold step with the psychological horror film Angel Heart, 1987, co-starring Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. The film's controversial sex scenes and voodoo themes shocked audiences, especially considering her previous wholesome TV image. Some believed the film strained her relationship with The Cosby Show's producers, especially Bill Cosby. She later took on eclectic roles, often gravitating toward independent or art house projects, including Bank Robber, 1993, Final Combination, 1994, Enemy of the State, 1998, alongside Will Smith and Gene Hackman. High Fidelity, 2000, where she played a sultry singer and love interest to John Cusack while she never pursued mainstream stardom in the traditional sense. Bonet curated a body of work that reflected her personal and artistic sensibilities. Personal life and cultural influence. Bonet married Lenny Kravitz in 1987, at the age of 20. Their union made them a cultural power couple, both exuding a bohemian, rock and roll aesthetic that remains influential today. Their daughter, Zoe Kravitz, born in 1988, has followed in both parents' footsteps, becoming a prominent actress, model, and musician. After divorcing Kravitz in 1993, Bonet kept a low public profile for many years. She legally changed her name to Lilakoi Moon in 1995 but has continued to use Lisa Bonet professionally. In the mid-2000s, she began a relationship with Jason Momoa, Aquaman, Game of Thrones. They married in 2017 and have 2 children together. In 2022, they announced their separation, though reports have emphasized their ongoing respect and co-parenting relationship. Legacy and impact. Lisa Bonet is more than an actress, she is a cultural icon. Her influence spans fashion. Bonet's earthy, eclectic fashion has inspired countless designers and fans alike. She's credited as a pioneer of the boho chic look. Representation. As a biracial actress playing a complex character on a major sitcom, Bonet helped widen the scope of black representation on television. Artistic integrity. Bonet has consistently resisted Hollywood's expectations, choosing authenticity over fame. She's praised for protecting her creative and personal freedom, often stepping away from the spotlight on her own terms. Today, Lisa Bonet remains a somewhat enigmatic figure, rarely giving interviews, avoiding social media, and choosing privacy over publicity. Yet her legacy continues to grow, particularly through the rising star of her daughter Zoe and a renewed cultural interest in the trailblazers of 1980s and 1990s black television. She's a style icon, a symbol of independent artistry, and one of the most quietly influential actresses of her generation. Early life and background. Lisa Bonet was born to a mixed-race family. Her father, Alan Bonet, was an African-American opera singer, and her mother, Arlene Littman, was a Jewish teacher. Growing up in Los Angeles, Bonet was exposed to the performing arts from a young age and began appearing in commercials and small television roles during her childhood. She attended the Celluloid Actors Studio in North Hollywood, where she studied acting. Breakthrough with The Cosby Show. Lisa Bonet's major breakthrough came in 1984 when she was cast as Denise Huxtable, the second oldest child in the Huxtable family on NBC's hit sitcom The Cosby Show. The show was a cultural landmark, breaking new ground for African American representation in mainstream television. Bonet's portrayal of Denise, cool, independent, stylish, and a little rebellious, resonated with viewers and became one of the show's standout characters. Due to her popularity, Bonet was given her own spin-off series, A Different World, 1987, which focused on Denise's life at the fictional Hillman College, a historically black college. However, her time on the spin-off was short-lived, reportedly due to creative differences and her pregnancy with daughter Zoe Kravitz. A controversial transition to mature roles in 1987. Bonet made headlines for her bold performance in the psychological thriller Angel Heart, starring alongside Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. The film featured dark themes and explicit content, including a provocative love scene that clashed with her family-friendly image from television. While the role showcased her range as an actress, it also stirred controversy and may have affected her relationship with producers of The Cosby Show, leading to her eventual departure. Independent spirit and career choices. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Lisa Bonet chose roles that aligned with her personal style and values rather than pursuing traditional stardom. She appeared in smaller but critically regarded projects like Enemy of the State, 1998, with Will Smith, High Fidelity, 2000, with John Cusack, several independent films and guest television roles. Her low profile in Hollywood was intentional. Bonet has often expressed discomfort with the industry's pressures and chose to prioritize her family and personal growth over high-profile fame. Personal life and relationships. Bonet's personal life has often attracted media attention. She married Lenny Kravitz in 1987 at age 20. Their relationship was deeply influential in pop culture, combining fashion, music, and multicultural identity. Their daughter Zoe Kravitz, born in 1988, has since become a successful actress, musician, and model. In 2005, Bonet began dating Jason Momoa, known for Aquaman and Game of Thrones. The couple married in 2017 and shared 2 children. They announced their separation in early 2022 but have remained amicable and family-focused. Cultural impact and legacy. Lisa Bonet's influence extends beyond acting. Style icon. Her natural hair, eclectic wardrobe, and earthy aesthetic helped shape bohemian fashion trends, particularly in the 1990s and 2000s. Feminist and individualist, Bonet is seen as a pioneer of self-expression in Hollywood. She has consistently followed her own path, often turning down projects that didn't align with her values. Spirituality and activism. She is known for her interest in spirituality, environmentalism, and indigenous rights. She leads a private but consciously principled life. Current life. As of the 2020s, Lisa Bonet remains largely out of the spotlight, rarely giving interviews and seldom appearing in public. She is viewed as an enigmatic figure who transcended traditional celebrity, admired for her refusal to conform and her commitment to authenticity. A quiet revolutionary. Lisa Bonet's career choices and public persona have always hinted at a deep inner conviction and spiritual awareness. Unlike many stars of her era, she never chased celebrity. Instead, she often retreated from the spotlight, speaking in rare interviews about her discomfort with fame and the superficiality of Hollywood. She's often described as someone who subverts expectations. At a time when black actresses were often limited to narrowly defined roles, Bonet played a mixed-race, bohemian, rebellious character on The Cosby Show, something rarely seen on mainstream television in the 1980s. She did not conform to Hollywood's beauty standards, yet became a style icon. She avoided press and red carpets, yet remained a fixture of cultural conversation. Her power lies not just in what she did, but what she chose not to do. In her restraint, she became mythic. Spirituality and philosophy. Lisa Bonet has long been drawn to spiritual practices, natural living, and indigenous philosophies. Though she rarely gives public statements, when she does, they are often poetic, contemplative, and nature-centered. She has been associated with plant-based living and holistic wellness, environmental consciousness, a strong connection to indigenous cultures, particularly through her relationship with Jason Momoa, who is of native Hawaiian descent. Feminine power and mothering as sacred roles. She once said in a rare interview, "I work from a place of peace and authenticity. I'm not interested in fame. I'm interested in evolving." Cultural and feminist significance. Lisa Bonet represents a counter-narrative to the typical trajectory of women in Hollywood. She never overexposed herself to the media, making her presence feel sacred rather than commercial. She carved out a place where black femininity could be soft, spiritual, intellectual, sensual, and defiant, all at once. She modeled a form of radical self-possession that has become aspirational for many women, especially in an age of curated identities and digital overstimulation. To many black women and mixed-race women, Lisa Bonet was the first time they saw themselves reflected on screen in a nuanced way, neither tokenized nor stereotyped, but complex, dreamy, and stylish. Influence on generations of artists. Bonet's influence is visible across art, music, and fashion. Her name often comes up in the same breath as other style and culture muses like Erykah Badu, Zoe Kravitz, her daughter, who calls Lisa her greatest teacher, Tracee Ellis Ross, Solange Knowles, Sade. Many of today's artists who embrace eccentricity, Afrofuturism, and holistic spirituality cite Bonet as a muse. Style and aesthetic legacy. Lisa Bonet's fashion was never driven by trends. It was personal, raw, and rich in texture and storytelling. She often wore layered fabrics and tribal prints, vintage jewelry, and handcrafted pieces, natural hair long before it became widely embraced in mainstream culture. Minimal makeup, showcasing her natural beauty. Flowy dresses, hats, leather, beads, and fabrics from around the world. She helped define a look that became known as Afro-boho, a mixture of African roots, 1960s hippie culture, and effortless elegance. Where is she now? Lisa Bonet remains elusive. She occasionally appears at events with her children or former partners but has stayed almost entirely out of the public spotlight. She rarely gives interviews or makes statements on current issues. Yet her name trends regularly in cultural discussions, especially around authenticity, beauty standards, and holistic living. She and Jason Momoa announced their separation in 2022, with statements emphasizing love, transformation, and mutual respect, a reflection of her characteristic grace even in public transitions. Legacy. In one sentence, Lisa Bonet is not a celebrity. She is a symbol, a totem of soul, style, and sovereignty in an age of excess. The artist as mystic. Lisa Bonet's creative philosophy. Bonet doesn't consider acting a career, she treats it as an expression of inner truth. In her rare interviews, she's spoken of art as a form of spiritual communication, not performance. She has said she's drawn to work that reflects a higher vibration, aligning with themes of freedom, healing, intuition, and transformation. This spiritual lens explains her limited filmography. She was never chasing roles for visibility or profit. Instead, she pursued projects that allowed her to maintain creative and personal integrity. She often prioritized silence and presence over productivity. I'm a seeker. I don't take on roles that don't feed my soul. I'm not here to perform, I'm here to evolve. Crescent Moon. Mystique and silence. The power of her absence. Lisa Bonet is a master of what we might call curated absence. In an era obsessed with exposure, she remained almost mythic by choosing invisibility over overexposure. She has never joined social media. She rarely gives interviews. She often avoids press tours. And yet, her name is consistently mentioned in conversations about ageless beauty, true individuality, nonconformity in Hollywood, bohemian motherhood, timeless style. Her absence has become her power. It creates a stillness that commands attention. Bonet doesn't need to show up to be present, she's a living archetype. DNA. The bridge between generations and cultures. Lisa Bonet has always existed between worlds, a biracial woman navigating race in Hollywood long before mixed-race identity was widely discussed. She is a child of the civil rights generation and a mother to the millennial generation, uniquely positioned between old and new ideals of womanhood, activism, and artistry. She became a Black cultural figure embraced by rock and alt scenes, a Jewish woman with deep ties to Black ancestral traditions, a TV star who never pursued fame, a mother raising a daughter, Zoe Kravitz. In freedom and artistry, Bonet didn't just represent a cultural shift, she embodied it. She was, and still is, a threshold figure, someone whose life bridges the material and spiritual, the feminine and the fierce, the artistic and the ordinary. Seedling motherhood and matriarchy. Her greatest role. Bonet once described motherhood as her deepest transformation. After Zoe Kravitz was born in 1988, Bonet restructured her entire life around presence and intentionality. Zoe often speaks of her mother as a guiding force, saying, "She's been a true north for me, not just in creativity, but in how to be in the world. She's who I go to when I need grounding." With her later children, with Jason Momoa, Bonet continued to live simply, surrounded by nature, art, and ritual. Her home is said to be filled with books, incense, handmade furniture, and sacred items, more like a sanctuary than a celebrity estate. Sparkles reverence. Lisa Bonet as an archetype today. Lisa Bonet is more than an actress, she is an archetype in the collective imagination. She represents the high priestess of soul culture, the Earth Mother in velvet and feathers, the bohemian queen of the 1980s and 90s, the muse who chooses herself, the feminine mystic who walks quietly but leaves echoes everywhere across Tumblr aesthetics, Pinterest moodboards, Black feminist essays, and style blogs. Bonet's image endures, often paired with words like sacred, sovereign, wild, grounded, radiant. Open book. Lisa Bonet's story is not over even in her absence from the screen. Lisa Bonet continues to inspire. There is often quiet speculation about whether she will return to acting, publish a memoir, or appear in a meaningful indie film. But most fans agree, she owes us nothing.
Bye bye, thanks for watching.